Hello, this is Joseph from Gorilla3D. In this screencast we'll be going over the basics of phpMyAdmin and creating databases, or more or less just creating tables and databases to work with. If you're using cPanel, the way to get to your phpMyAdmin is simply click on the MySQL databases icon and then scroll all the way down to phpMyAdmin. But we also need to make a table first, and if you're using cPanel, again in the same window here, we're going to head and add a new database. We're going to call this say log or users, which will be our users table, and then we go ahead and click on create database and go ahead and click back, and then we create our user for that, and we're going to say user and the password is user, and then we go ahead and create our username and password for that. And lastly, we go to our add users to database and select user and users. This is what we used for our database and our user, and we can just go ahead and leave privilege set to all and then add to database. So you've added a table, you added a user specifically for that table, and then your last thing would be to go to phpMyAdmin. Now if you're not using cPanel and you're using the XAMPP that I've been using in the past tutorials, and you want to go ahead and create your database, simply just go to phpMyAdmin. This gives us a nice little error. Alright, so I went ahead and fixed that little problem here. Now where it says select database, as you can see we can select anything here, but we're going to go ahead and create our own database. And again, if you're using your XAMPP or XAMPP, whatever you want to call it, to create a new database, simply see where it says create new database. Let's go ahead and type in users, and then we just type in create, or we click on create, and it throws us right to our interface. Now if you're using cPanel again, you click on a database right here and then go to users, and it'll let us create our table. And in here it also let us create our table. So we're going to go ahead and call our table here users, and it will have approximately 3 fields. So go ahead and click on go. Yeah, let's go back. So users with 3 fields, and click on go. Okay, well that's not working. It should. So let me go ahead and choose my my cPanel one. Let's go ahead and for name have users and number of fields is 3, and click on go. And now we get to edit our 3 fields. So our first field will be ID. Our next field will be username, and our last one will be password. Where the field of username is, the type will be an int, and the username will be a varchar, and the password will be a varchar. And we can go ahead and set these to 60 and 60. And all this is meaning is that there's a maximum of 60 characters for the password and a maximum of 60 characters for the password. So now if we go ahead and scroll over, we have some extra things here. Now the first row was our ID, and we want to click on this right here, which is saying it's the primary, and it's saying it's just going to be indexed for faster searching, and each thing needs to be indexed, so each ID needs to be unique. And the last thing for this, we're going to actually click on extra and then auto increment. This way I add 1 to each ID every time we search username and password. And we can leave the other 2 alone, and that would be it. And then just click on save. So now as you see, it gave us the query how to create it and the actual table. The next thing we'll go ahead and do is go ahead and click on insert, and then we'll go ahead and insert username and password. So our first username is going to be Bob, and our password is going to be 123. We leave ID blank because it'll be automatically generated. And then go ahead and click on go. Now if you click on browse, it'll actually show username Bob and password 123 and ID is set to 1. Now if you ever wanted to add extra fields onto here, simply go to structure, and then you can, where it says add one field, so you can add 1 or 2, 3, whatever, however many you want, at the end of the table, at the beginning, or after a certain one. We're just gonna go ahead and do this at the end of the table, and then click on go. And all we're gonna add here is the last time they logged in, so we put last underscore login, and we're going to use the type as date time. All it's saying is going to have a certain date and time that they last logged into, and that's pretty much it. So just click on save, and now as you see, it inserts the date and the time, and this is the date time format. So again, if we go back to browse, it will show us the username Bob, the password 123, and last login, which they haven't done yet. And let's say that if we want to give an example for last login, let's go ahead and click on edit, and here you can edit the actual row that we have. And then for the date and time, we can either set it from the calendar, which is pretty much a pop-up window, or you can set for the current time by clicking on the date time, or by clicking on the function row and then selecting now, and then we can go ahead and save it by clicking go. So now you can see it's the current date and time. And that's pretty much it for creating a database, a table, and some rows as well as columns for your table.